Alright guys, I'm going to talk about another really important topic, and that is the market. This time of year we get a lot of questions on where to move geckos, how to sell geckos, what are the different outlets. And this goes from your professional reptile breeders all the way down to your hobbyists who just want to breed a few, want to have fun with them, and what do they do with the extra offspring. Sorry if you can hear the frogs. It's breeding season, so they're in the background chirping away. But anyways, so different outlets to do so. There's a few different ones. Number one, pet stores. This goes for all different levels. Pet stores are not a place that you're going to go ahead and dump off investment animals and sell, very, very expensive animals. They're a place that they're going to take your cheaper animals because they're going to have to make a profit on them also. So basically, those are your, $10 to $20 animals. That's pretty much what you should be expecting to get from a pet store. And depending on the size of the pet store, depends on the size of how big the order is going to be, how many are they're going to purchase at a time. Some people like to do that method, some don't. I really don't do too many pet stores. I have a friend at one, and that's all I really do. He does a couple, and and that's about it for pet stores for me, anyways. So check out your pet stores in the area. They might be willing to take some off of your hands, but keep in mind they don't care if it's a raptor or a regular tremper or a high yellow. To them, morphs, they're all the same to them. They are not probably going to be able to tell you what morph is what. To them, the dollar amount is always going to be the same. Same goes for wholesalers at shows. You'll notice if you've gone to a bunch of shows, there'll be individuals who have a lot of different species. These are people who probably breed a very small amount compared to what they buy and flip, resell, however you want to term it. They're always, again, an outlet if you had to move. They will take probably more than what a pet store will take. But again, price has got to be low for them because the majority of those guys are flipping. And I do know some really good wholesalers who do take care of the animals, but for the majority, when you're keeping that many different species, they're not getting as individual care as maybe they should be. So these are the two lower rungs of the ladder if you are really pieced for having to move them. Neither one of which are really high on my standpoint of having to sell geckos. In fact, we do, out of all the geckos we sell in a year, maybe 4% are animals that are wholesale, and like I said, that's the good friends. So other than that, the other reason, another way I should say, is other breeders. Sometimes other breeders, they want to purchase more stock, whether it's for themselves to breed the next season or if they just want to resell. There are breeders who buy, they run out of stock for some reason, they have a bad hatch year, and they rely on, the business as supplemental income, or maybe it is their income. So other breeders are always an option. This is also probably a little bit higher of a sale than what you would get from a pet store or the wholesalers. They are looking most of the times for your medium end animals, because what they're selling, they want to make it look good. So it does happen. Other breeders do buy from other breeders. It's kind of a hush-hush thing that people don't like to talk about. Early in my leopard gecko career, I did some purchasing of myself when we couldn't keep up with the demand, but I always let the customer who's purchasing the animal know what, was it from me? It was purchased from, this breeder, that breeder. I only really purchase off of a couple breeders now, so you can really keep a handle on what's coming in, what's going out. Now we don't really have to do that much anymore because we produce about 600 a year here. Leopard geckos, we like to, I like to keep it at a point where we're going to sell what we hatch, and they're all going to get good homes, and we don't have to worry about, oh my God, what do I do with 200 leopard geckos at the end of the day? So again, this whole spiel of this video is to kind of pinpoint what levels you can get a handle of. You don't want to produce 400 leopard geckos if you only have an outlet for 10. It is supply and demand, comes before everything. So that brings me to the next step of how another outlet which you could sell geckos is shows. Depending where you're at in the United States, there could be a lot of shows. There could be maybe a show once or twice a year. Depends where you're at. Fortunately, we're here on the East Coast. There's a lot of shows. We do about 20-25 shows a year, from White Plains to Tinley Park. So we do a lot of different shows. It's probably one of our larger sales portions of our year, and for me, I like that. I like to go out and see the individual who's buying from me. They get to talk to me about the animal, and you get to have more of a relationship than, okay, what's your PayPal account? It's a lot, for me, I like the personal side of it, so I get to go actually talk to people. So but shows come with the downside too. You gotta drive, so there's expenses on gas, expenses on table, expenses on food, expenses on hotel depending how far away you're going, expenses on maybe you need extra help to man that table because it's a really busy show. So there's a lot more expenses involved in certain levels of shows. And again, in shows there's all kinds of levels, from little tiny shows that maybe have 20 tables to shows that have hundreds of tables. So that's another, kind of has to fit your game plan. And then, of course, the other whole different world is your social media. Point in case while we're shaking this video, social media has become a very, very large part of geckos nowadays. From Facebook to YouTube, and I guess now even Twitter. We don't do Twitter, but I hear it's gaining steam. So having a Facebook account, a business page where you're putting available geckos up. It is a free, free outlet. You're not paying for your Facebook page. You're not paying to put up the animals for the availability. It's a little bit nicer to go ahead and do the Facebook. There's a lot of people on it, but sometimes it seems like it's a little bit of a rat race for. Got to be careful how I say this. Politically correct, I should say. Who gets more likes, and buying likes with contests and things like that. That's all fun and good, and it's great for the customers to partake in that, and everybody has a good time. But you do got to be careful with auctions and things like that too. Has to be a good balance. You can't auction off every single gecko in your collection because you're probably not going to get market value for that, and it's going to eventually lower the market. So you do want to be careful with the social media. It's a great outlet to show off what you got and really get connected again with people. So I highly recommend Facebook as a getting a Facebook page. It's easy and free. Other outlets are different classified sections, like King Snake. King Snake's a great one. Thousands of people visit King Snake every day. The other one is Fauna Classifieds. Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. I feel it coming on. So Fauna Classifieds, Geckos Unlimited, GeckoForums.net. These are all places that you could go that are generally free, except for King Snake. There's a small fee. I believe it's like $35 for 3 months. Excuse me, I knew that was coming. So you got your online social media, your online classified ads, which is where you're going to probably sell more of your higher end animals. And keep in mind with the higher end animals, you got to have the reputation to back it. You can't expect to go out and let's say Hardwickie, for instance. That's a very expensive animal at the moment. Can't go out and say you have a lot of money, you get money to blow, and you're going to buy a pair of Hardwickie and you're going to sell the offspring and expect them to fly off the table. You do need to have a rep behind it. So I don't always suggest going out and, if you're starting out a collection, going and spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on the hottest, newest, and expecting that you're going to make an investment back in the first year. We do this because we love this. We don't do this because we're making millions of dollars. We just simply don't. So it is a really fun hobby, and if it pays for itself, you are ahead of the curve. You're doing very well. So those are your different outlets: social media, classified ads online, shows, which is one of my favorite. Also your mom and pop pet stores. Generally your Petco, PetSmart aren't going to buy because they already have contracts with very larger breeders who are producing thousands and thousands of them. And family, friends, maybe, if you're not a very large producer, that's another outlet. So we get a lot of questions again this year. This time of year, it's hatching season. How do we, go about selling them, marketing ourselves, things like that? You could get banners on different websites like Gecko Forums, and of course now there's all these radio shows that are popping up that you could also go ahead and sponsor them and get your name out there. There's a lot of ways to get your name out there, but the best part I think is Facebook. You can really go on there and customize the page to what you want and answer questions for people. And also YouTube, having a YouTube channel and talking to people, showing off, doing videos what you want. So you know, the bigger question we also get is how do you know prices of morphs and market? And I'm not really going to get into that. You know, market value of certain morphs. You know, a wise breeder told me a long time ago, a morph's only worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. So it's always different. You know, now obviously the more rare, it's simple supply and demand. The more rare morph, the higher it's going to be. Maybe it's not a morph, maybe it's a subspecies. So the more rarity of what you're selling is going to be worth more, hence the supply will be lower because not a lot of people have a lot of them to go about. So it is going to be a higher valued animal. And keep in mind, these things they breed. You know, that's why you're watching this video. So every year the monetary value of what you're selling is going to hit what's called a base dollar amount. That's where they're going to fall, and that's where they're probably going to stay. So they're going to keep coming down until they kind of settle somewhere where the supply and demand decides, okay, that's where it's going to be. You know, maybe, you know, Raptors, I remember when Raptors were $2,000, $2,500, and now they're anywhere from $50 to $150, depending on what you're finding. So, and then it does break down to the quality of the animal too, what it looks like, the reputation of the breeder. All these things take, you know, take place in these variables on what you're going to sell something for. So I hope this video has helped explain a little bit to you guys about how to sell geckos and your avenues to do so. And also, you know, I know I didn't do a lot of explaining on pricing and marketing, but one of the best resources for that is when you're going out putting up ads, just check out what that morph might be selling for, or talk to other fellow breeders about what they're selling that morph for. So I hope this has helped you guys out. I know we've had a few people email and call in wanting to know. So there you go, guys. Hope this helped a little bit. If you want to see something else, just let me know. Talk to you guys later. Take care.